Okay, let's do this. We are live. It is now Wednesday, February 26, 2025, 8:02 a.m. Pacific time, 11:02 Eastern time. Okay, so we got another good one here. A lot of busy stuff going on here on the channel. A lot of stuff coming in fast and furious. We have the Surface Pro for Business 11th edition. Who knows what the hell they're really calling this? You can see it different places, different ways they're calling it. Let's just call it Surface Pro for Business, running Intel's Lunar Lake processor, and it is expensive. So I went out and I bought this, and we'll talk about the price in a moment. I bought that. Well, you probably can't see it from this angle, but I also bought the Surface laptop for business, which, by the way, is fantastic. Everything except the price, right? So the pricing on these business laptops are more expensive than their consumer counterparts. I have the Surface Pro with the X Plus here. This is with the standard LCD display. This comes in a lot cheaper. You can go buy the Surface Pro 11 with the OLED, which is what I have here, by the way, the OLED for the business one. You can get that at Best Buy, and it's a lot less money than what you're going to pay for this. And the only place you can get this, apparently, or at least one of the few places, is the business website for Microsoft. Now, it's like they're hiding it. And if you caught my video of the Surface laptop for business, which, by the way, thank you everybody for the great support on that. We hit 40,000 views already in less than 2 days. So a lot of interest, a lot of, they want to see what's going on with it, especially with the price and all that stuff. So, but a really fantastic laptop. We'll bring it out in a little bit. But this is the Pro, right? The OG, right? The Surface Pro device that we've seen pretty much every iteration here on this channel. I've been using this since last night. So I took it out of the plain brown box, and we'll look at that plain brown box right now. Really nothing special. Again, they're not giving you any fancy packaging for the business version of it like you get for the consumer, right? So we'll take a look at this in a little bit, what's inside, but you get the charger, and it'll be this charger anyway. So we may not even have to waste our time. But we're not here for the box. We're here for the product. Good to see everybody. We have about 70 of you watching, 75 of you watching, whatever it is. We'll do it right here today, of course. So try to keep it within the hour as we normally do now. Again, 8 o'clock here is pretty much our standard time now. Trying to hit all the time zones. We're multi-streaming here on not only YouTube, but you also can catch me at X, formerly known as Twitter. I'll start adding more. I'll bring back Facebook as well for those that want it. So let's talk about this. We'll say hello to a few people in a little bit. Again, I just want to get this up and running. Good to see William, moderator, everybody here so far. And then we'll look at the Snapdragon version, and we'll kind of see where we are, a lay of the land. Let's get the specs onto the stream here. And this is the Surface Pro for Business with the OLED, right? So I got the 13-inch Pixel Sense Flow display, 2880 by 1920. And I will say that this is a really nice display. You're looking at the Core Ultra. There, I did that footnote again. Thought I got them all. But anyway, the Core Ultra 7 processor, the 268V. I have the 266V. So that's up to, right? So I have the 266V. This also comes with the Intel Arc graphics, and it also comes with either 16 or 32 gigabytes of memory. I have 16, and I have the 512 gigabytes of removable storage, 53 watt-hour battery, Wi-Fi 7, and then, of course, we'll talk about the weight and all that. We'll get our own measurement of the weight, size-wise, everything, 1.92 pounds or 872 grams. Great quad HD front-facing camera. We'll take a look at that. Of course, a 10 megapixel Ultra HD camera on the back. Pricing for the Surface Pro comes in at a starting price of $14.99, and I went with the one that is $17.99 or $1,800. I believe I paid, $18.99. I'm sorry, $18.99, and that comes with 16 gigabytes of memory and 512 gigabytes of storage. It came over $2,000 with tax here in Nevada, which is very expensive, right? I mean, considering that's just the tablet alone portion. I did get the Surface Pro Flex keyboard in black, and you'll look at it in a moment. Now, you can get the Snapdragon version equivalent for $11.99 over at Best Buy. So that's a $300 savings Again, that's a lot cheaper than $18.99, and that one, of course, is just the unit alone. But I also got like I said, the ProFlex keyboard that came in I got it at on sale at Best Buy for $250. I think it's normally $350, and then I think if you want the pen, I think it's $450 or something like that for the bundle, right? So that is very, very expensive, folks. And I will say that I don't know what to say, because why are they not offering this towards the consumer? Why is this not coming in less? Why is the Snapdragon so much less than this one? And considering that they're also selling the Snapdragon towards businesses, right? So it's not like it's mutually exclusive there. So I'm not really sure what the hell is going on as far as the pricing. Now, that being said, it's a really, really nice device. You can see this OLED display here is absolutely gorgeous. It is a display that I think is pretty special. And if you go with that OLED, you have to go with the Core Ultra 7, right? So let's put the ProFlex keyboard off for a moment and let's take a look at this display. So it does have a pretty decent anti-glare coating, although it is very glossy, still glossy. I wish they offered like a nano textured display like Apple does. You don't get that here, but it's a thin and light device here. So let me unplug it for a moment. So just with the tablet alone, you can see it's super thin and pretty light, actually. So they did a really good job. They did a decent job on the bezels. You have to have a little bit of bezels. We have a black background here, but let's see if we can get something here. So you can see there, it's a bright display. I'll have to lower blowing out the camera a little bit, but you can see the bezels are pretty decent here. And I will say that it is a very, very nice display. Now, it's 120 hertz. There is dynamic refresh rate, so it can switch between 60 and 120. I kept it on 120 for now. And that's going to impact battery life. But if it has anything like what we saw on the Surface laptop in terms of battery, we're in good shape. Of course, I still need to do all my testing on that. We'll see how that's all going to play out. But as far as this is concerned, it's very nice. Now, on the back of the unit here, you can see the camera there, that 10 megapixel rear-facing camera. This is the black color, and you're starting to see a little bit of fingerprints, not too bad. Of course, you could also get it in the platinum here, and that, of course, is a nice solid color as well. This one will show less fingerprints, obviously, but this one is really nice. Now, I wanted to get the black to, again, give the comparison here to show the difference between the two, but the build quality is excellent on here. I mean, it's really pretty fantastic. Now, it does have a really nice kickstand here. Now, under this kickstand, and you can see here, is the 2230 SSD, and you don't need a tool to get in. Let me see if I could pop it off here real quick. There it goes. It's very simple. And this is a 512 gigabyte SSD, and you can replace that yourself. So that is good news. They used to be hard to find. They're now a lot easier to find in Amazon and so forth and other places. So really easy to put that back on. No tool needed. So that's great for storage expansion. So on the right side here is the Surface Connect port. Again, we talked about the Surface Connect port back with the Surface laptop, and I will say the port is okay. You can connect to the docks. You can do, it's like what the MagSafe, right? So the Surface Connect has a very similar magnetic kind of connection, and you can use the charger. And of course, this is what the connection looks like here. So you can see it there, and it just magnetically attaches, right? So it's very MacBook-esque, and then it lights up to show you that you're charging. So that is, it's okay. Again, I'd rather have another USB-C port on that side, to be honest with you, to split it up, because on this side, you have the two Thunderbolt 4 ports, the USB-C Thunderbolt ports. Let me see if I can try to get you this into focus there. There we go. And you do not have a headphone jack. So missing is a headphone jack, no USB-A. So not quite as good in terms of ports like you get on the Surface laptop. And this is the kickstand here. This is as far back as it goes. So it goes down pretty far. And then, of course, you'll be able to use it with the ProFlex keyboard. Now, I'm not going to connect it because why? Look at this. It's working without it. Again, one of the benefits of the ProFlex keyboard is the battery that it has in it, and you can flip the flap down, so then the pogo pins are down, and then it gives you a little bit of a raised typing angle even when detached. So that's been pretty good, and this has been a game changer in a lot of ways. Now, this is a very, very expensive accessory. Like I said, if you want to get the keyboard bundle with the Surface Slim Pen 2, you're looking at over $400 or whatever it is, right? So this is the Slim Pen 2. It hasn't changed the last couple of years or whatever it's been. It's a really good one. It's a really good writing experience for a tablet and so forth. It's really nice. We'll take a look at it. Now, one of the things about the keyboard, it has good key travel. It has good tactility. It's probably one of the best detachable keyboards, although I really like the one on the Flow, the ROG Flow Z13 that I just looked at, running the Strix Halo. But this has something pretty unique. This has the Sensal haptic touchpad on it, and it's got to be great. It's great, and it's a lot better than the standard one, which I have here on the Surface Pro 11 with the Snapdragon, right? So let's move this over here, make it easier. And this one, and we can show you. So this one has a smaller touchpad, and you can actually see it here. And let's connect them to show them together. And by the way, it's a strong connection. And you can see here, this obviously has the OLED. This is the LCD. This one also has a place to store the pen. This touchpad is more of a traditional style touchpad, and this one is a haptic. This one I prefer, obviously. Again, very, very expensive accessories. This one, I don't know. We'll check the link, but this one is a lot. It's less than this, but it's still way overpriced for what it is. Now, my feeling is if you're going to give us a price like this, especially towards businesses, throw in this accessory, right? At $2,000 that I'm paying with tax here in Nevada, give me this. Give me one of these, right? Maybe I'll pay extra for the Flex because of the extra features it has, the haptic touchpad, the ability to use it detached. But give me this one at least, okay? Give me the pen. Come on. I mean, at this price point, it's very, very expensive. Now, with the Flow Z13 ROG from Asus, that comes with the keyboard cover. Yes, we're paying a premium on that one, and there's a reason for that. We know why, processor. But obviously, that comes with a really nice keyboard as well. So it's just crazy how they are taking a page out of Apple's playbook, right? That they're charging you an arm and a leg for the accessories that I think personally should be included in the box. Let me know what you think. Obviously, I know how much most people think on this, but it's the same story, right? You know, they're going to try to get as much as they can out of you, nickel and dime you, and that's exactly what's happening here. Now, the overall package, though, is pretty nice. I got to say, you are paying a pretty penny here. So on the top here, by the way, you do have your power button, your volume rocker. Again, I don't see a headphone jack. I don't remember there being one on this. No, there's no headphone jack. So that's a little bit of a negative. And let me lower the brightness a little bit. It's blown out. One thing this display has that is pretty fantastic, especially on this OLED, I don't think it applies to this as far as the brightness. 600 nits standard dynamic range, can peak up to 900 nits in HDR. So that is pretty special. So this display, and I got to tell you, has been fantastic. So here you can see I have it on 120 hertz. And again, I got to lower this down. This is really, really blown out. But this has been a very fluid, very, very smooth experience. And that the touchpad's working really well. You can use your finger, obviously pinch to zoom and all that stuff works. And then, of course, the pen. So the pen has been another great addition to this. Again, I think these are must-have. This is a must-have accessory for those that want to take notes, sketch out artwork. This is definitely what I think you want to definitely think about getting. And again, good palm rejection here. I can move things around. I can doodle things. I can sketch out artwork, whatever it may be. The Surface Pen, and it has like a pen to paper feel. One thing, again, like I said, what I wish it did have is that they should have had a matte paper or paper-like type of surface on here. So at least give us an option, like, again, with the MacBook with the nano texture display or the iPad with the nano texture display. I want something like that, right? What do you think about that? Because I use the iPad Pro with the M4 13-inch, and I have the nano texture display. It's very expensive, way overpriced than what it should be, but I will give credit that it is a pretty fantastic display, especially if you're going to use the Apple Pencil and stuff like that. So it's been a pretty nice experience so far with this Slim Pen 2. So the performance here, let's talk a little bit about that, and we'll start using this a little bit more. So Core Ultra 7 262, I have the 266V. So that is an interesting SKU. Now you can go up to a 268V with V Pro because it is, again, geared towards businesses, but I don't have that one. I don't need it, but you can get it, obviously, if you need it. 266V is 8 cores, 8 threads, no hyper-threading, again, like all Lunar Lake. But I will show you that what it is so we can take a look at it. So here it is. And this one, again, it can overall peak of tops is 118, 8 cores, 4 performance cores, 4 low power efficient cores, 8 threads. And again, it may be clocked a little higher than the 258V or something like that, I think. I don't know. We'd have to look into that. But the bottom line is it's going to give you very similar performance from what we've already seen in Lunar Lake, right? So, which is going to be good enough for Microsoft Office, email, web browsing. And we can take a look at some of the benchmarks that I've already run. I ran a few of them, and we could probably run one here as well. Let me bring it back over here. So when I took it out of the box, these were not great numbers, but this is the first one I ran. Single core, not very good. Multi-core, but I reran it, and that's the OpenCL, which is what you expect. We'll talk about the graphics. But I reran it and got more something in line with what we are certainly expecting here. 2734 single core, 10,772. I suspect we'll get about 11,000 all said and done with updates and so forth. This is the Cinebench 2024, and I got a good single core, by the way, 122, which is really good, and then 587 multi-core, again, in line with other Lunar Lake laptops, and those are some of the benchmarks that I ran. Now, I can bring up here 3D Mark. So what graphics is this running, right? So this is running the Intel Arc 140V, right? So if I do the time spy, and we could run the time spy here real quick, and this is the Intel Arc 140V. So the time spy here is a good indicator of where we are with things with the Intel Arc 140Vs, because I think Intel's done a great job in terms of an integrated graphic solution. Now, it's not going to be quite as good as the 8060S Radeon that we saw on the ROG Flow Z13 that we looked at, but I will say that it's definitely a very good solution here, especially for integrated graphics. Now, will you be playing AAA titles on the highest settings? No. I think I have to restart it because I ran into an error here. So let me restart this. And again, there's updates here, and I'm not going to do them now. I'm just going to do a standard restart. Again, I still have to update all this, but it's been very good so far. So let's go, while this is rebooting, let's go to your comments and questions. I know we've been here for a little bit already. I'm finally getting to it. It's my first time buying a Surface Series. Can you recommend an option? If you don't need the business one, which is very expensive, go with the Surface Pro 11, and you could probably get it on sale with the Snapdragon if you're okay with basic stuff, right? It just depends. If you need a lot of x86 compatibility, maybe you have to do a little research, see which one works for you. So this is Dutch time, 5:02 p.m. Not too bad. Apple is not cheap either. No, they are not. And that's another thing, obviously, everybody's pretty aware of. Microsoft always charges a premium for their name on their PCs. Yeah, Microsoft takes a page out of Apple's playbook, and without fancy packaging. I don't really care about the packaging, but it's kind of curious. I'm paying $2,000 for just a tablet. Oh, by the way, look at this. A system update is underway. But if I'm paying $2,000 for a tablet without the keyboard, that is a pretty penny to pay. Give me a nice experience unboxing, right? Price-wise, ouch, I agree, William. Design looks clean. It's amazing design. I love the design. Good to see Blue Jay here. See, so even though it's pricey, it appears to be a quality-built device. The premium quality is certainly coming through here. No screws to open and service device. I agree, Gregan. Definitely a big positive there. Nothing else. This tablet is basically nothing else but an e-waste. I wouldn't go that far. No, it's good. It's just overpriced. $500. You talk about the keyboard combo with tax and everything. It probably is. Further price drops go crazy, like the secondhand market after a few months. If the battery life is good, then this finally may be worthwhile. And that's one of the things I think Lunar Lake brings to the table here. They removed the headphone jack with the Surface Pro 9. I still haven't brought it back. And I haven't brought it back. Terrible decision. Yeah, it's not good. And I'll be honest with you, I like having it on the laptop, right? We saw it on the Surface laptop for business, but not on the Pro. So that's pretty good. So we're having a system update here, which I guess is good, but not during a live stream, but whatever. It is what it is. We have 107 of you watching in total. We have 45 likes. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Let's get this spread out over YouTube. I'll leave it up, obviously, for a replay, but for those that are watching live, why not hit that subscribe button away? By the way, let's talk about that while this is updating. I'm making the big push for 200,000 subscribers, and I got to thank everybody because we're not there yet, but we're getting pretty close. We're at over 191,000. We've grown tremendously the last week based on a lot of the content and everything. The support has been outpouring in terms of the content and all that. Everybody's been watching, subscribing, liking, sharing, and doing all that certainly helps the channel grow. It helps me work with other brands who will see that I'm getting a big reach and will send me more stuff to review. And again, that is the name of the game, to get you enough good content that you'll want to come back. So I think, to me, the growth is great. I think at this pace, we're going pretty rapidly. We're getting closer to that 200,000 subscriber goal. So do me a favor. It doesn't cost anything. If you enjoy my content, you're a casual viewer, why not hit that subscribe button? It certainly helps support the channel. And of course, there's other ways to support us. You could do super chats, super thanks, stuff like that, memberships on a monthly basis. So that certainly helps out. But I want to thank everybody as we're moving towards that push to 200,000 subscribers. Big deal. It's a big deal. So working hard, trying to get all this stuff done. So I have a lot of good stuff coming. We'll talk about it in a little bit. So it's been very busy. I have the Slim 7i 14 coming with that OLED display from Lenovo. I have the ZenBook Duo running the H series, which is Arrow Lake. And then I have other stuff. What do I have? So much stuff I can't even keep track of. It's been crazy. At this point, it's literally just price Snapdragon cheaper than the Lunar Lake options. Yeah. So if you definitely know you want this as far as compatibility and all that, then you're going to have to pay a premium, it seems. That is a little bit unfortunate. So I'm trying to get this signed in here. Where is the camera? Should have come on. So I don't know. Anyway, this is it. So it's been updated. So let's go to the 3D Mark here. And let's open that up, see if that'll work now. Is it getting hot? Now, well, we're going to run a benchmark now. I will say this, that it's not hot. It's a little warm, but not hot. One thing I will say about Lunar Lake in general and the various devices that we've already been able to see so far, this has been very cool and quiet for the most part, and great battery life. So, and the fans, I heard it last night when I was setting things up. Things were happening in the background. Very quiet. This is not a loud device, which is what you want, right? You don't want a loud device. You want it to be quiet. So let's go to the benchmarks here, and let's run the time spy. Let's see if it'll run properly now. Again, there was things happening in the background, so you can see what I'm doing here. Again, Intel Arc 140V graphics. Trying to do something there. Hold on. If I put it on this, I'm just experimenting here. There we go. It's collecting the information. So 140V are going to be good. What I've been seeing is about high 3000s, low 4200 around there for time spy. That's what we're going to be looking for here on this test. Let's go to your comments and questions. Good job. I appreciate that, my friend. Price, we already covered it. It's starting on the Microsoft Business site at $14.99 just for the tablet alone. I paid $18.99 because I got the OLED option, the Core Ultra 7 version with 512 gigabytes of storage. I don't recommend anybody getting 256. That is too low. unless you have an extra 2230 drive lying around somewhere, then maybe that's the way to do it. We'll talk about speakers, Yusuf. We'll get to that. And then we'll do a sound test and all that. But let's run this test real quick. And then you are going to pay a premium, especially when you add the keyboard and the pen. And especially if you go with the Pro Flex keyboard, you're adding almost, what, $400+ to already. You're looking at $2,600 all in, $2,700. It just depends on which SKU you go. And it is very, very expensive. That is the big problem with this device. It is a beautiful looking device. It's very premium, but it is very expensive. So one indicator is when you come to laptop is the higher wattage power brick, expect more heat. Yeah, so I'm plugged into my dock, so I can't really test that, but I can tell you I did a little test last night when I was running a few benchmarks, and it did not overheat the charger. It is stayed pretty lukewarm at most. It's pretty cool. So again, I don't think it's going to be an issue. But look, these are very thin and light travel devices, very portable devices, I should say. And you're going to take this, throw this in your bag, take everywhere with you on an airplane, business trips, hotels. You're going to consume media on this. By the way, it's been very good. It has a 3:2 aspect ratio, and I love that, right? So if you're going to do spreadsheets, Word documents, you're going to do less scrolling with web browsing, it's going to be a little bit taller, a little bit nicer to do that. And again, I love the fact that this gives you a raised typing angle, so it gives you a nice ergonomic, comfortable position to type, and that's been pretty good. Now, the touchpad, like I said, feels a lot better on this haptic. Again, no moving parts. There is a haptic feedback, haptic engine, and it's Sensel technology. This one is a traditional style, and it's okay. It's not quite as good as that, but it's a good traditional style touchpad. So we're waiting on this to run. This is running the benchmark, and they are glossy displays, both of them. So this is the LCD that you could also get it if you went with the Core Ultra 5. It doesn't come with the OLED. This is a traditional style LCD IPS, and you will do better on battery life on this. But hopefully, because this has the Lunar Lake, we're going to see a little bit of improved battery life, especially when it comes to this OLED option. But we'll see. Surface Pros, I'm sorry, are nice machines. These Lunar Lakes have finally allowed for entry level AAA casual gaming. Yeah, I think with the Intel Arc graphics, which and this is what it's utilizing right now in this test, but I think if you play with some of the settings, you definitely can get some playable frame rates. Don't expect to be playing AAA titles on their high settings, but because this has been such a good solution as an integrated solution, it definitely opens up possibilities. And the fact that it has the two Thunderbolt 4 ports definitely helps in that regard as well. So I ran some benchmarks on the Snapdragon X Elite. Now the X Plus on this one. So this is the, let me just see which model number this is. So this one is the Snapdragon X Plus, the 64100. So it's not the X Elite. We already looked at the X Elite when I did the review last year. Let me see what we got for Time Spy. So Time Spy got 1921. So one of the weaknesses of the Snapdragon processor is going to be the graphics, the Adreno graphics, which are not as good. The X185 GPU, what it says there, this is going to be half the performance, maybe more than half the performance of this. And that's because the graphics are not quite as good on the Adreno. Hopefully, the next gen of the Snapdragon processors will change that. We'll see. But again, this is not going to be, I'm expecting high 3000s, early 4000s versus this, which didn't even get 2000. Now, keep in mind, this was an emulation, right? So if you're going to do Firestrike, it's going to be less than this. This is going to be 7500 to over 8000, should be. And then this one did the Wildlife Extreme, which uses Vulkan, which is native to ARM. So this should be okay. So we'll see how that, or DirectX 12. I don't know how this works, but we'll see what the scores are, but we'll do it in the full review. But you'll see that this Snapdragon version, the graphics are not going to be quite as good. And the other problem with the Snapdragon, again, I'm not ragging on it. I like it, and especially if you're going to do the simple stuff like Word documents, office work, email, web browsing, consuming media, this is a great device perfect device in a lot of ways. But it's where you run into some trouble is certain x86 apps. If you lose highly specialized DJ apps and stuff like that, and all these, really not standardized apps and so forth that are not ARM native, where they have to run emulation. Some things are some hit or miss. Although I will say Prism has done a decent job, but it can be a little bit hit or miss. But we'll see. Now here's our result, and look at that. And this is what I'm talking about: 4,318. So 4,318 on this one. Let me validate that versus 1921. So that tells you everything you need to know. Let me lower the brightness on this one. So that tells you that obviously the Intel Arc graphics are a lot better. Is there a warranty on the OLED screen burn-in? I don't know if it's included. You get a standard warranty. Now, actually, we probably should look into that at some point. Is the business version have any extra warranty since it is a business device? Is it 3 years as opposed to 1 year? That's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question. If anybody knows right now, because I'm doing a live stream, but let us know. But this is a very good score. So there's the difference between the two in the graphics, and I don't know if it's worth. This is what, 1,300 or 1,200 right now, and this is 1,900. So what is that, like a $700 difference? Something like that. If I'm doing the math correctly, that's a huge difference, actually, if you think about it. So what's the next Snapdragon going to be called? X Gen 2? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll probably see it this year, that's for sure. So that's the Time Spy. I'll run the rest of them for the full review, so don't worry. Let's take a look at the camera here. So this is another thing, a Quad HD camera that they're touting here. And again, this is a Copilot Plus PC, so keep that in mind. And it has whatever number of tops, whatever that is. Okay, so let me put this to the side, and maybe we'll bring that out for the camera as well. But let me show you. So what we have here is a pretty nice camera here. So let's go to the settings here. In the video settings here, the video quality, we can put it on 1440p in this Windows standard app here, the camera. I think it's pretty nice. So this is a pretty nice camera. When you can do photos, and then this is for the video. Now, one thing you will be able to do, obviously, are the studio effects. You could do the background effects here: standard blur, portrait blur, eye contact, auto framing. I mean, we've seen it before. It's not, we don't have to go through it a total here, but this is a very, very capable camera here. Can you test real games? Yeah, I will in the full review. I'm not going to start loading in games right now, not on the live stream, but maybe we'll do a separate one. Who knows? But this is a very good camera. All right, camera looks good. Better be for the price. I agree, William. It is a very, very nice camera here. What do you think? Let me know. Very, very good. All right, so that's the camera. Let's do a sound test here. So let me load in Epidemic Sound. So I want to test the speakers here. And so let me make sure the volume's on 100%. So we're looking at, let's bring up the specs for a moment here. As far as the speakers are concerned, we have 2-watt stereo speakers. So Dolby Atmos. So it's going to have Dolby Atmos. Let me go here. So let me take this off. Okay. So let me go to the Dolby Access app if it's on here. I don't think it has it, but it has Dolby Atmos. But I'll play with the settings when we're done. But here, let's just get a quick and dirty test to see how this sounds. Let me go to the save sounds here. Let's do our standard one. I'm going to be switching it up soon. I know people are getting tired of it, I'm sure. All right, let me put it on. Let's make sure I have everything set up right here. All right, let's give it a listen here. And again, 100% volume. Okay, let's get a listen, and you let me know what you think. Let me move this out of the... Okay. And let me set this up properly here. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, what do you think about the sound? I thought it sounded pretty good. It's not MacBook sound quality, but it's okay. It's good. I like the sound on this for especially for a thin tablet. Is it better than the iPad Pro? Probably have it upstairs, I think. But if you're thinking between the two, I think the iPad Pro might sound a little bit better. 13-inch, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to do a test on that. That should be interesting. But that is the sound of the unit. Right now we're at 38 minutes. Does the sound come out of the tablet or the keyboard? It comes out of these speakers. They're on the side here towards the top of the display. I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't see it. You might be able to right there. So they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Let's take a look at the 512 gigabyte SSD. Let me go to the Crystal Disk Mark and let's see. Let's download that and let's get a quick look at the speed of the SSD. I'm just curious, as opposed to say I have a 256. We got pretty nice reads and writes on. I guess sort of good ones for that. Pretty good. Again, I'm putting in a 1 terabyte on the laptop, so I may do a video on that. Do that. And I'm trying to get Linux to run on that. I'm going to be doing Linux. I'm experimenting right now for bootable off a drive, and we'll see if I'll report on that. Probably do a separate video on that as well. I think I got Ubuntu going, but we'll talk about that. So here is the Crystal Disk Mark. This will test the speed of the 512 gigabyte SSD. And again, it's the M.2 2230. So, all right. How does the keyboard, not the keys, feel flimsy and thin? How much worse or compared to the real, is it to a real one? It's good. I prefer a laptop keyboard, although for a detachable, it's excellent. Now, when it's on the ground or when it's laying flat, it doesn't have a hollow feeling. When you bring it up, it's actually more reinforced than in the past, and it's very little flex. So it's actually been pretty good. I will say it's been pretty good. So far, looking pretty good on the read over 5,000. So that's good. These are Gen 4 speeds. So at least on the read so far. Hope Snapdragon or Crapdragon fails bigly after they pull these prices for people who want a laptop that actually can run programs. Eduard, they're going to get better, and they've gotten better. But I understand, certain apps are not running. Certain drivers are not running, so it may be an issue. Compare the device with the ROG Flow. Yeah, so I have that here, and I'm going to be doing a separate video comparing the two Surface-like devices here, although this is a much more powerful device than the Surface. So here, for those wondering, and I did a video on this, on the right here is the Flow D13 from ROG, right? So, I got to take McAfee off there. I forgot about that. This has a gorgeous QHD plus display, 2.5K resolution. I think it's 2560 by 1600, 16 to 10. I think in my live stream when we talked about this, I said it was 3:2. I was more thinking about this at the time, I guess. This is a 16 to 10 aspect ratio, 180 hertz refresh rate, which, by the way, is fantastic. But the star of the show is Strix Halo and the integrated graphics that have been pretty phenomenal. Pretty phenomenal. Let me move the box out of the plain brown box. Snapdragon is the future. ARM is probably there, but this is maybe is this a last gasp from Intel? Who knows? This is a one-off. From what I understand, they're not going to be making another Lunar Lake type chip where everything's integrated on the. It was too expensive to make. The RAM is the memory is integrated on the system on a chip. So I don't know if they're going to be doing that again. Apparently not, but who knows? You never know. Never say never. But apparently they said it was too expensive. Well, we'll see. Well, we're getting our Lunar Lake products here, and this is the first Snapdragon, or rather the first Surface Pro to do the 11th edition, I guess, is what they're calling it for business. That's going to have Lunar Lake. Comparing price performance on these is why would you want the Surface? Well, there's a few reasons why I think you'd want a Surface. You want a versatile device. You want to have a tablet, and you also want to be able to do actual work. So this will detachable keyboard. You can use it with this Flex Pro. You could do it detached or detached, or attached or detached, I should say. So you may want it to, as opposed to a traditional laptop. You can use the pen on this, right? So the Slim Pen 2. You can do all sorts of things with this. And again, it is very expensive. I'm not going to lie. And this is expensive. But with this one, you can play AAA titles pretty seamlessly. Just, may have to play a little bit, like also with the settings. But this is the equivalent of having basically an RTX 4070. And that's pretty phenomenal is what they were able to pull off with the Strix Halo. It's not a fashion statement, bro. Get a necklace or a bracelet. Doesn't matter what it looks like. The performance is objectively better in so many ways. Right. I mean, look, it comes to the argument, form over function. So, listen, if I'm paying this kind of money, I want it to look good, right? But it has to be able to perform. And it performs, but you're paying the premium. The biggest problem with the Surface Pro for business, with the Lunar Lake, same for the laptop for business, is the price. I imagine they're going to bring it down, and I wouldn't be surprised at some point this year they're going to offer it towards consumers. I have a feeling, but I don't know. I don't know what their deal is with Qualcomm, to be honest. So I don't really know if they have an exclusive with them maybe for the Surface products. I have no idea. I don't know if it's their strategy to just push the ARM as opposed to the Intel. Maybe at the time they thought, well, Intel's dead and they have nothing good here, no innovation. And then they didn't expect Lunar Lake to come out and then be so great. So maybe that's what's happening here. I don't know. I know that when Panos Panay left, the direction of the Surface line in general has changed. Instead of being more products there, more innovation, they're just going to iterate on what they already have, trying to make what they already have better. And I will give them credit. They are making these a lot better. These are much better products than they were previously. So maybe in that sense, it is better that they're reduced the number of Surface products. But at the same time, I want the price to come down and I want it to be available towards consumers. Again, a big question mark here is why is this more expensive and why is this not offered towards consumers? That's what the takeaway. Although this is a fantastic device so far in the limited time that I've used it. And of course, there are other Surface-like devices, kind of like what we're seeing here with the ROG Flow Z13. Costs more for less. That's the Surface lineup. Only get if you want build quality. That's a sad position to be in, having the appearance of a device determine your purchasing choice. Nobody should ever purchase a product simply on its appearance. But I think there's a balance. You want it to look nice. You don't want some ugly honking device, but you want it to have a nice balance between form and function, right? So you want it to be able to look good and actually do the job. And that's, that's not easy to pull off. A lot of laptops try, but they fail on one or the other, or maybe both. Case in point, I hate to bring it up, the Ace Magic X1, the worst laptop I've ever reviewed. What a piece of trash. And a company, stay away from them. They're just not a very good company. What can I tell you? The only problem with the ROG for enterprise is the gaming theme. It doesn't look as professional as the Surface. It's not meant to be, right? Now, I will say this. This is not geared towards businesses, but you can certainly use this for business. You could turn off the light in the back there. That's easily turned off. So if you don't want to have that look in a meeting, lighting up, pulsating, doing all kinds of stuff, you could turn that off. Same thing with the RGB backlighting on the keyboard. So I have it on red, but you can play around with the setting. That's good with the customization. Yes, this is not a business-focused 2-in-1. This is. At least it's what they're saying, although I don't see a difference between a consumer version and this. What's the difference here? Yeah, they're giving us a little bit different chip with the V Pro and all that stuff, but ultimately, what's the difference? And why are you charging an arm and a leg more than the um, back there, the standard version or the Snapdragon, whatever you want to call it for consumers? Yeah, ROG Flow screams about gaming, and that's intentional. That's the design on that. That's what people that they're targeting towards want, apparently. So if this had that, but here's the difference, and we can show it to you now. And by the way, these are the reads and writes here, and then I'm going to show you the thickness and all that. And we got to measure this, and then we're going to start to wrap things up, I think. So I took my screenshot there. So that is pretty good reads and writes for the 512 gigabyte. Now let's take the keyboard off this, and let's take the keyboard off this for now. So what we have is a very different device. So the two kickstands. So look how much thicker, and you can probably see it here. Let me switch devices here. So you can see here, if this ever comes into focus there. This is a thicker device, right? So when we put them when we stack them, you can see how much thicker the Flow Z13 is over the Surface. It's like double, it seems like more than double, maybe 3 times the size, thickness. And that's intentional for the cooling and the more power that it's processing. But this is a much thinner device. All right, let's bring out the scale and we'll get a measurement of the weight. Now, let's put this over here. So let's put it in grams. So just the unit alone, I don't know why it's on 2. It should be 0. Let me turn that off again. Reset that. Okay, so with just the unit alone, you're looking at 879 grams, which is pounds-wise, 1 pound, 15 ounces. So that is the weight on that. Now, if I want to add the Flex keyboard with the pen, you're looking at 2 pounds, 11.5 ounces, and in grams, that's 1,232 grams or 1.232 kilograms. Now, if I want to take the total travel weight and everything on this, keyboard, everything, pen, 1.44 kilograms or 1,440 grams, and that is 3 pounds, 2.8 ounces all in. So it's a laptop, right? With everything in, it's a pretty decent travel size, but the versatility is where this comes in, especially with the Pro Flex keyboard. Now, it might be a little bit less with that keyboard because of the added weight from a battery inside the Flex keyboard. But that is the difference. And just to give you an idea of how much more this one weighs, we can actually bring this one back out. And for the the Flow Z13 ROG, in grams, you're looking at 1,237 grams for just the unit alone, or 1.237 kilograms, or 2 pounds, 11.6 ounces. But then when you add in the keyboard that it comes with, 3 pounds, 9.4 ounces. So it's a lot heavier. And that's not even including that big 200-watt power charger that they have, 1,626 grams. And I don't have that with me handy right now, but that is the weight. So that is a difference between a more portable device, although that is portable, especially for what it's capable of doing, versus a gaming-focused 2-in-1. So that is the difference, in my opinion. Okay, so there you go. That's the size, and that's the weight. These are more for tablets for adults, right? A laptop you can use on your lap. So I don't love using these Surface devices on the lap. They're not great for that. The kickstand's fine if you angle it up. You can sort of go like this, sort of see it. It's fine, but not ideal. Not ideal. So we have 140 of you watching in total between the different streams, and we only have 75 likes. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Let's get this spread out over YouTube. Like I said, we're making the push for 200,000. We're at over 191,000. We're inching closer towards the 200,000 subscriber goal. So let's make it happen, people. Any other comments and questions? Sartonis says, the Surface's 140V GPU performs a little behind an RTX 3050 and other Lunar Lake computers, so it's not like it's completely unusable for gaming or anything. No, absolutely. You could play. You could play GTA 5. I know it's an older game, but you could play pretty nicely on it. You can play. I would look. You can play Cyberpunk 2077. Is it going to be great? No. I showed you the numbers. It'll be in the 30s, 40s at most, which is not unreasonable for a device like this. But would I want to do it? No. Now, but it just depends on which game, which settings. You just have to play around. But it is a very capable integrated solution as far as the graphics. That's what makes this so interesting. You know, at first we saw, oh, they reduced the cores. They took away the hyper-threading. It only has 8 cores, 8 threads. That's not a bad thing on a device that's portable, right? Because what they were able to do is make it more efficient. So now we got great battery life, and I'm expecting pretty nice battery life on this. We'll test it. The proof is in the numbers, but we'll test it. But if it's anything like we've seen with other Lunar Lakes, and as a generality, better efficiency, better battery life, and I think that's where the value comes in. Now, value in the sense of not price-wise, because I think this is way overpriced, but the fact is you can't get this anywhere else. Now, by the way, I purchased this. So you want to help support the channel, why not become a member? Why not use the links to buy through? Now, the link I have for this, the Surface for Business link, that where you can buy this, I'm not an affiliate, but I did leave it there for you. So if those of you want to find out where you can buy it, find out more information, of course, use that link. I did leave affiliate links for the consumer version, the Snapdragon, so you can definitely go there. And that helps support the channel because I actually spend quite a bit of money. So this one was sent over, by the way, as a disclaimer, this one was sent over by Qualcomm. And by the way, this is a very good device. Snapdragon X Plus, especially get it on sale. This is a really good device, by the way. So kudos to them. They did a good job. What it is, it's a very good product. But I had to go out of pocket for these two, right? The two business laptops running Lunar Lake here. So these two, to me, are game changers in a way. This especially, this laptop, I love this thing. So this has been like butter. So this one has been really fantastic. And it makes me sad. I hate to say, it makes me sad. Oh, this is a first world problem. That as a consumer, they're not putting this in Best Buy. They're not putting this in Walmart or whatever, or Microsoft's consumer site. All this you cannot get, unfortunately. You'll have to go through their business site. And it's fine. You can do it. I did it. I went out and I bought these two. I was able to go to their website, the link below for both of them, and then you'll be able to buy them. And that's it. Are the keyboards interchangeable between the Snapdragon? Yes, they are interchangeable. They are standard for the Surface, but they're not interchangeable for the Asus ROG Flow Z13. So you cannot use one or the other for each. So there are different set of pogos and stuff like that. It's different, but you can switch out the Flex Pro, the Pro Flex keyboard, and the standard Surface keyboard. Yes, you can swap them out. Pen works on both, no problem. And again, the benefit of this one, this the Flex keyboard, is the fact that you can do this, right? So I can then still use this device and not have to worry about connecting it. So I can use it in all sorts of situations. In fact, like if I go here, I can use this like over here, and I'm still able to use it. You can see I'm still able to scroll and do all that. And then, of course, you know, if you don't want to use it in your lap, but you just want to lay back and relax a little bit. Hey, everybody. Oh, this is actually comfortable. Kind of tired. Up late last night, but you can use it, right? Or the beauty of this is I can just use this as a tablet, right? So that's not a bad way to use it either, especially with the pen. I'm left-handed, but just keep in mind there. Look at this guy. What the hell is that? Maybe it's telling me I need to lose weight. I don't know. But this is very nice to use it. And again, if I want to sketch out artwork and stuff like that, I can do it. And what I like is if you put the kickstand out, so this be, this becomes a nice solution. Now I'm already getting fingerprints on it. What's going on here? Hold on. Logged me out. I don't know why. Must have hit a button. So that sometimes you will hit that power button. That's not great. So if I hit this, and again, I can do notes, I can move, edit documents, I can sign documents, do all sorts of things here. And I notice how I didn't talk about AI or any of that stuff, and it does have the Copilot key. Honestly, it needs work, right? They're getting better with that stuff. And again, if you go to the dev channel of the Insider program or something, or beta channel, you can do the recall and all that stuff. Would you choose Lunar Lake or the MacBook Pro M4? Well, it depends on what you're talking about. I'm a big fan of the Lunar Lake, but the M4 is fantastic performance-wise, and in the synthetic benchmarks, it blows everything away, especially Lunar Lake. It'll be much better. It'll be over 3,000 in terms of the single core. You'll be way more in terms of the multi-core. You've seen the numbers, my graphs and so forth. So that is obviously one thing. But that's just synthetic benchmarks. Doesn't tell you the whole picture. You can't do this on a Mac. You could do that on an iPad, but you can't do this on a Mac. You can't run on an iPad full Windows apps, x86 apps, and have no issue on this particular one. So that's an advantage to me. Having the touchscreen, you don't get it on a MacBook. That is an advantage. So very different devices. Would I like to see a MacBook with a touch layer? Obviously, I would, but that's not going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. But you know, it just depends on how you use your devices and what your use cases are. Everybody has different needs. I'm a Mac user as well. As you know, I use the MacBook Pro. I edit in DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut Pro, but I also use Windows, obviously, when I'm testing all this stuff. And I use for video editing and stuff like that. I have laptops that I use for that. So it just depends on what your use case scenario is. I don't think one is necessarily better than the other. Now, some people have personal preferences, but that's your personal preference. I can't. What may be good for me may not be good for somebody else. It's the same thing with battery life. You know, when I run these battery tests, it's a standardized PC Mark 10 Modern Office test, the video playback, the gaming test, but not everybody's going to get the same result. That's why I use a standardized test. But when you're using it in real world, everybody's use case is different. So your mileage may vary. You're going to get different results. And I think people don't understand that sometimes. At the end of the day, choose what device works for you. Any news on Strix Halo? Yeah, I just did a review of this one back there, the Strix Halo with the ROG Flow Z13. Check out my review. We will be seeing more devices, but that's the first one out of the gate running the Strix Halo. That would be killer on, I was thinking about this. The Strix Halo would be killer on the ZenBook S16. Wouldn't that be great with the Ceraluminum and all that stuff? That would be pretty freaking awesome to have that processor in that chassis. That would be pretty amazing. If we'll see it, who knows? Never say never. You never know. I don't have any information on that, by the way, so don't read more into that. Finally, according to Pro Day 83, finally complete Surface Pro device. So this is complete. It's got full compatibility. It's got the OLED display. It's got the ProFlex keyboard. I love Apple. I love Apple Mac on a new. I would love Apple on a matte on a new M4 Pro, but you can't have a perfect one. Can't wait for a full review on this one. Yeah, I'm going to be doing it. One thing I mentioned earlier that I mentioned, I would love to see a matte finish or a nano texture type display. I did order, by the way, it came in. I didn't install it yet. I got a matte screen protector to put on the Surface laptop for business, the Series 7 here with Lunar Lake. I will report that. I'll probably do a video to see if it reduces the glare, but it's not terrible, the glare. I like a matte finish. Same thing on this. I may get the same thing. If it goes well on that one, I'll do the same on this one. It is glossy. That is definitely something you'll notice. But I am getting more and more into these nano texture type displays. Those new AMD chips get hot and don't have great battery life. They're not meant, they're different kinds of chips. Battery life wasn't terrible on that Flow Z13. If you looked at my numbers carefully, you saw it wasn't bad. Now, is it going to be as good as the Laptop 7 or potentially what this is? Probably not. Lunar Lake is a more efficient chipset, but that is, I mean, that's a performance tablet there for doing creative work, video editing, as well as gaming and stuff like that. Those textures tonight, yeah, on those nano texture as well. Yeah, I agree. I think they're good. Qualcomm and AMD models are very good. Again, what I love right now is there's so much choice out there, so many great devices to choose from, and we have more coming, which is even better. So it's worked out pretty well. All right, we're at over an hour, so I think we're going to wrap it up here. So we got a first look at the Surface Pro, I want to say laptop, the Surface Pro for Business Series, or what do they call it? Edition 11 or 11th edition. See, they make it very confusing, not only not where to buy it, but what to call it. So this is called Surface Pro for Business Lunar Lake. I mean, that's the easiest way. We have the laptop and now we have the Pro. I'll have a full review on this. So a lot of work to come, a lot of great stuff. So make sure you are subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. We're hitting the 200,000 subscriber mark very soon. So be part of that. A lot of great content. And I will see you in the next video. So take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.